everybody, welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React. Finally, I get to sit next to Adam Savage. The last time my son was being born. If you guys are not familiar with Adam, he has an amazing YouTube channel called Tested and was one of the original Mythbusters and has a ton of experience doing special effects, prop design, art design, and he knows a whole bunch of incredible people who are amazing artists and in the industry. So it's gonna be a wonderful episode with a bunch of stories.
On episode 1, those pod racers were built to be beautiful in their debris, right? We would spray paint styrofoam silver in chunks and put it in there and look at it in slow-mo on the dailies. These were all shot, on the back of ILM was a concrete slab called The Slab. I don't know how they came up with that name. And that's where they did all the explosions. That's where they did all the Pirates of the Caribbean explosions were shot out there, all the boat stuff. And I mean, they're also obviously augmenting with CG, probably taking explosions from one place and adding parts of them to other pieces.
A lot of comp work to make that happen.
Yeah. Episode 1 is such a fascinating film because it feels like a modern visual effects film, but watching behind the scenes and breaking down the shots, like almost every shot is a hack and a shortcut, taking the hackiest methods of the 90s and trying to make it look like modern CGI and modern VFX.
Guys, you're not gonna believe today's sponsor. This is crazy. It's Descript. You know that I love Descript. You know Jake loves Descript because it's incredible software. Descript is a game changer. Let me tell you why. Descript will create a script of all your footage, and instead of having to edit with a razor tool, you can instead just delete a few words or a sentence, and it will edit the video for you. My favorite feature, the overdub feature. It creates an AI clone of one of your speaker's voices in case you want to make a little line tweak here or there, or you flub a word and need I don't have to re-record this. I can just fix it with Descript. It's one of the best voice cloning softwares out there. Also, they have a feature that automatically will clean up all your audio and mix it for you and makes it sound nice and professional and pristine. Also, Descript offers incredible collaboration tools, allowing multiple users to work on the same project online, so there's no more emailing files back and forth. If you want to check out Descript for yourself, head to the link in the description and get started for free. Back to the episode.
Did you ever see the montage of models being blown up for Terminator Salvation?
No.
Really?
Wow.
Back it up one more time, Christian. These are really cool because they show you how they're triggering different explosions for the shockwaves.
Right. Oh, dude, they're actually creating a not actual shockwave by blasting powder radially.
I have yet to see a CG simulation look as good as this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
And it's timed to like explode when it hits the ground. I don't know how they do that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, when the dish hits the ground, pop. It's like, how do you do that?
As I'm looking at this, I'm seeing a couple of releases. Foot comes out, and then the two sides pop out. So that's obviously like pin, pull. But this has got to be like 6 feet large. I wasn't around during this. Jamie and I painted the Mona Lisa in 70 milliseconds.
I remember that, yeah.
3, 2, 1.
The 4 giant air tanks we used were used to create the blast wave for the 4th Indiana Jones film.
Really?
Yes. They like flattened the models of the city.
The sequence was really neat.
Huh.
This is gorgeous stuff.
Yeah,
Dang.
it's so beautiful.
Is entirely practical?
Yeah. The timing of that is impeccable.
The timing!
Like, this is somebody who has blown up
This
a
is
lot of
milliseconds.
stuff.
Yeah, they're literally activating this within milliseconds of each other.
They're timing it up so that the buildings on the outskirts of it are exploding as the internal shockwave of the dust is reaching that point.
I think you only get that by screwing it up once. I mean testing. Yeah, you're totally right. Foom, 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 and then pank, 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 pank. Wow.
So Adam, I think you might be familiar with a movie called The Fifth Element.
Voila, the GF1. Dude, one of my favorite weapons in film history.
So I remember when I watched this movie when it first came out, that shot right there of it opening up, I was like, whoa, that's cool. And then he just picks it up.
Yep.
And then of course it goes on to show this montage of all the things it can do.
Rocket launcher, arrow launcher, a famous net launcher, flamethrower. One shot, Replay sends every following shot to the same location.
I think you've maybe spent maybe 20 or 30 minutes in your life maybe making a couple of these.
I have 5?
Including a functional one.
I did make a nearly completely functional one for Savage Builds, which was super fun. And actually, Gary Oldman appeared in that episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He told us how this was so much fun for him to do and gave me permission off camera to say, my favorite. My favorite. That is my working one. So it really sprayed a freezing ray. It shot arrows. I used a gimbal with a Nerf gun to do it. Always shoots to the same location.
That's so cool.
It had a net gun, which I still possess.
I wanted to break down the actual prop in the movie itself, because you've mentioned that they probably have several different props for various shots within the sequence, because it's doing different things. And the very first shot is a visual effects shot. They actually had a version where it was basically the cocoon version. I don't know what you call like the egg of it,
Yeah,
right?
no, it's a complete egg. I own a casting from the production molds of this piece.
So do you think they actually did like a swap out where they actually had like, they put the egg down there and then they take it out and then they put the final thing and then do some effects to move between it?
It's hard for me to tell. There was never an ability to have that middle resting on the bottom. That's physically impossible. But the way the top sits on the top I feel like they filmed that and then digitally just crunched it.
Yeah, exactly. I think so too. But I think so that the front and the tail there, it gets kind of like digitally wiped in, right?
Exactly.
It reminds me of that shot from Lost in Space when Joey from Friends turns around and the helmet comes over.
Yes.
Joey from Friends.
I know.
Matt LeBlanc, that's his name. That's his name.
But Joey from Friends is the appropriate way to describe that character.
How you doing?
So I think they're actually using a plate of the egg for just that front bit. I'm trying to tell if they're actually doing some sort of transition for the actual top shell there.
I think it's the same shell. They shot it twice so that we can see what's behind it when it's sitting here, because that's what the shot starts out as.
Yeah, and it's just sitting there the whole time.
Right.
And they do a little bit of like morphing on it to kind of like
They do
push
that
it down a
thump,
little
thump.
bit.
Yep.
Because like you said, all of that extra machinery couldn't possibly fit within the scale of that device. But then the whole top part like opens up and a whole barrel comes out.
That's practical.
Yeah, that's all happening
That's
in
all
that
happening.
moment. Now, do you think the one he picks up is different than the one he's holding here?
Hard to say, probably because they're going to give him a light one to pick up, and the one with mechanics in it is going to be heavier. This is done by Simon Atherton, legendary, decades-long armor to all movies made in the UK and Europe. He did Gladiator and this and like everything in between. I think they built a whole bunch. I don't know the exact number because a precious few of these have entered the private market.
Sure, yeah.
Like 3, maybe. So take a look under the red button and just notice that we see that like square of material and the blue nozzle, that's the freeze nozzle coming out of there. So the first thing he's going to demonstrate is that the bullets all go to the same location.
Every following shot to the same location.
And he's actually firing a blank firing weapon out of the ZF-1. See the black spot?
Yeah.
That is the ejection
Oh,
There?
for the shells.
for a blank firing AK-47's ejection port.
Oh, no kidding.
And it's just a big hole that shows up for this shot and you never see it again. But who cares?
Yeah, because in motion, no one's going to catch that as a difference.
No. It was so much fun for in the prop community to start to notice that kind of stuff. Wait, pause. Go back. Stop right there. Notice. Wait, you're gonna love this. There. Okay, look. That's the magazine of the AK-47 sticking out down here.
Oh, wow.
And you can see it. You can see at the corner of it sticking
Oh,
out.
it's
Yep,
just
and they
barely
built
there.
a full AK-47 blank firing weapon into this thing.
Wow.
Rocket launcher.
This is probably the easiest effect anyone's ever done because that is actually a model rocket called the Bullpup. You can buy it today and spray paint it yellow, and the text on the side is the same as the text on the side in the prop. And I think they literally just lit a rocket engine.
That's real cool.
That's what I did.
You can throw it on like a string, right? So it goes zoom down the string too?
Exactly.
That's so cool.
Arrow launcher with explosion of poisonous gas head.
the sides come out with the
Yep.
darts. Do you
Yeah.
think that would be a separate version again from the one that has the top open up?
It could just be a mod that they take apart this one and put this part in to do that shot.
Okay.
I think that's a practical effect just for that one action. And then when you see the arrows hitting, they actually just built an air gun with 10 barrels and they were firing them in sequence.
Okay.
Famous net launcher.
That's an actual thing you can buy.
Really?
You can buy a net shooting gun. Yeah. With weights on it, and it works really well. They shot it at me on Savage Builds.
Really? It works?
Yeah.
I always felt like it's like let me just take this off and continue on my day.
Eventually, yeah, but if you're running from someone who wants to catch you, it's pretty effective at slowing you down for a minute.
Yeah,
right.
Nick made a net gun out of like a Nerf blaster way back in the day, and he shot me with it, and I was shocked at how hard it was to get out of the net. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just get this off, and then it's like 5 minutes later, I'm still trying to get it off. I was like, how?
I'm not positive that's a real shot of the net coming out.
Oh, you're right. That could just be comped. He does blink. Gary Oldman does give us a very accurate blink.
And there is a little tear on the end of that barrel there of the gun.
That's true.
You're right. You're right. It's so perfect how it turns into that grid right in front of you. I mean, maybe just they certainly tried it first.
Always efficient flamethrower.
This is one of the hardest permits to get. There's literally like 5 people in California who are allowed to operate a flamethrower.
We hired them once for a video.
Yeah?
It was wonderful.
This is you guys?
This is us, yeah.
Oh, this looks great.
There's a shot here that is like, how did you get that shot?
That is a great
How do you get that shot? How do you get that shot, Nico?
Long lens.
No, not a long lens.
Really?
Not a long lens.
Because the fire's like hitting the camera.
Are you behind a giant piece of glass?
No.
Did you rent my CO2 gun that I fought a flamethrower with in Mythbusters?
I'll give you a hint. Look at the back, look at the building and how the building's wiggling. Does that reveal it at all?
No.
We are looking at a mirror set behind the bodies, and we're just filming into the mirror as it gets blasted by the flamethrower.
Amazing. We did the same thing when we were doing our sniper episode, because I literally wanted Jamie to shoot me. And the insurance company was like, no way. Scariest thing I've ever seen. Please don't tell anybody. I think that is a completely practical way to deal with a flamethrower.
I'd agree. It's gonna get a little hot.
Oh no, it's gonna burn the hell out of your legs.
This is a tricky shot to film because we're doing it for real. The stunt guy's running up with the coat and throwing it on the flamethrower.
Oh, that's great.
But we had to, he couldn't see the flamethrower, so he had to run up blind and just know when to stop and throw the jacket the rest of the 2 feet to land on the gun and not like land on it.
Yeah, the close-up shot there I augmented, I added a lot more fire. So that's all fake fire there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then it cuts to that, and that's like pretty real.
Yeah, that's all real, 100%.
This looks really great, and your boiling air is awesome.
Thank you. I really like this one short. This is directed by my buddy Adrian Picardi.
Yeah, that's so funny. I just kind of wanted to look at flamethrowers a little bit. So I had that queued up ready to look at, and Nico just like, natty was like, oh yeah, we did that by the way.
Oldman did say this was the most fun day on set. My favorite.
Sidetracking from the gun a little bit. Those are all like real masks.
They are all real masks.
And they articulate, and there's a lot of them. I guess only like the hero ones,
Yeah,
probably.
I think only a couple articulate. Several others are in different poses, and this guy, Agnaut, is the most articulate. And the guy to his right, his jaw moves a little bit, but almost nobody else's move. It's a great mask.
Were there any other like sort of big moments from The Fifth Element that you really appreciate outside of the weapon?
I love the aliens in the beginning.
Oh, these guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So actually go back to that spaceship shot, because it's one of the best spaceship shots in film, in my opinion.
There it is.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's up there with the best of anything from E.T., and just it's like, we have entered something weird.
So how would you get a shot like that? Is that a matte painting? No, this is
That's CGI.
this is probably digitally composited.
They did have computers by this time, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I do think they
course.
built a practical model. I'm not sure if that's it, because there's several shots with a practical model. But I just love this. This is so gorgeous. This shot, that's 5 costumes all going at once. And like the way they're shooting it, you're not even sure if you're looking at heads or arms or anything. And now I know they're structured now, but back then it's like, what am I witnessing?
Are you German?
And now's the first time we're seeing anything that's like personifiable about them.
Yeah.
You know, head, eyes, etc. These costumes are even more beautiful close up. Covered with a metallic fabric.
Fabric?
Fabric, yeah. So there's an actual grain to that metallic, and then they airbrushed watercolors over it to get that kind of old looking, this is great. Oink. It's probably just behind the finger.
Oh yeah.
How do we solve this, boss? I know.
I love how he just slightly misses at the beginning there, just like slightly, and then he nails it.
Yeah, I just always assume it's also likely the effects director or the director's hand, right? Like no one else can be trusted with this one, like Chinatown, right? It had to be Roman Polanski's hand.
Right.
Someday I want to make one of these costumes.
OK Go, amazing band, famous for making very intricate music videos. We've looked at some of their things on this show before, and this one just dropped.
This is all one take. The camera is like picked up by two guys, it's handed off to a thing, it's lifted, it's flown.
It's a lot of robot arms.
It's
That
a lot
is
of
a lot
arms.
of robot arms.
I think 30?
Oh my God, that's
so cool.
Right?
with the robot arms, like, and these swords coming
Yes.
right at your face.
Yep.
The robot arms with giant glass mirrors on them is like very risky. Like these are industrial machines that like will go boom and like just go right through you and not know you're there.
Just walk through the middle, and as long as you don't vary, your head won't get chopped off.
Hit your mark.
Hit your marker, you will be hit.
They do a long interview with the guy that programmed all the arms, and boy, did they find the right guy to do that. Because you can only imagine how difficult it is to get those arms to hit a mark in that three-dimensional space where reflection parameters, which actually increase the difficulty of you nailing your target. He did an incredible job programming 30 arms in whatever it was, a few weeks. I love this. And then this becomes like a kitchen sink. This is like everything they ever figured out. And they're messing with both how tight the triangle is, and they're making a Busby Berkeley musical here.
Does the camera go up and over the whole contraption?
Yep. There it goes. The guys just closed, the bandmates just closing the mirrors, and the camera's coming around to Damien. This is another one where they block out everything but one spot for the camera so they get a real infinity room.
Yeah, and you can see the camera. You can see the camera in that little gap in the reflection.
I mean, and then they start playing with color timing. Yes. Oh.
Wow.
Dang. Okay, so they're making the characters out of just like
with
a
the mirrors?
reflection and put it on.
But how do you do an E?
How do you?
Yeah, I'm still a little.
Because I was wondering, how do you do the L?
Yes.
Wow.
They're just on C-stands. They were pre-placed. They were pre-placed.
Yeah, and now everyone's clapping because they got it. I haven't learned how many times they did this, but I can only imagine it was a bunch. I'm realizing now that the videos are all a metaphor for music. These guys are four bandmates, which means they have an intimacy that isn't based necessarily on affection. Like me and Jamie, right? They work together, they've spent years and years collaborating, and that's not easy to coalesce a real creative enterprise out of a group of people. As you guys know, it takes a lot of work, and I think of every one of these videos as a kind of metaphor for both how messy the process can be and how beautiful the result of that process can be.
So this is what I missed last time. This is fantastic. I had such a good time. All of us have looked up to you for so long, and it's super cool that like our circles now cross and we get to do some things together. And thank you so much for coming out and sitting on our couch at the end of a busy day.
Oh yeah, 5 hours of shooting this morning, but you know, you gotta work for a living. I wanna come back again.
That'd be amazing.